You're watching Prime Morning. It's time for the News Flash segment, which is proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Still phone, papa, pay fee. Whatever gadgets you're looking for, whether mobile phones, television sets, CCTV cameras, we say worry no more because we have got you covered. All you need to do is to pick up the number on the screen. Please do not go on Google and pick that number because there are so many fraudsters there. The number that you are seeing on the screen right now, that is the number to call us on. Now, if you find it very difficult, let's make things very simple for you. Just download the app on your phone, which is the Franco Trading app. Yep, Franco Trading app. Now, on that app, you can purchase any item of your choice and we'll deliver it to you at your doorstep. For further inquiries, contact us on www.francotradingenterprise.com. Franco Trading Enterprise, still phone papa pay fee. Now, this morning, we actually want to take a look at the Attorney General's briefing that happened yesterday. During his briefing, he did mention two things that are trending. These two things are really, really trending. Talking about the NSS scandal and, of course, one man who has become popular overnight, and Mr. Boahene. Now, a lot of people didn't know him, but yesterday he got very popular due to some of the things that the Attorney General said about him. We'll delve into that as well. And I want to welcome my guest for this morning. And joining us, as usual, the one and only Honorable Timothy Awantrim Atabwade, who's representing the NDC. Good morning, Honorable.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm looking great, just as you.
Great.
You know, I was telling you that with the coming of the NDC and John Dramani Mama, you have to spend holidays in France. This is just the beginning. Can you imagine if we empower for 2 years where you spend your holidays? So it's part of the reset. And, brace yourself up for.
But you didn't buy my ticket for me.
But why should I buy it? even the freedom to move about is okay.
How do you take credit for something you didn't do? I mean...
No, you know, that atmosphere, there's so much freedom.
Is the atmosphere?
Yeah.
Hey,
By the time
wow.
you were trying, the dollar had come down, so the price of the ticket had come down too. So not the dollar.
Wow.
It was stable. And let me say good morning to Amanda. It's been some time that we met. You are looking great. And my only honorable is the one who lost primaries and it became a problem in Ghana. I remember in the school that I teach, the teachers were saying that they don't like good people. This is the first time I'm telling you. I've never told you. That's how they are. They don't like good people. Good people, they always vote them out. Anyway, Doc, yeah. Nice meeting you once again after a lengthy period that we haven't met. Yeah. I'm happy to see you looking great. Greater than those who have been caught in the web of the oral. So,
Honorable.
God bless you for serving the people of this country and coming out very clean.
Thank you.
All right, so today we have our very own lawyer joining us this morning, Amanda Clinton Esquire, and she is actually the head of chambers at Clinton Consultancy. Good morning, Amanda.
Good morning.
You look ravishing this morning.
And so do you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope you're doing well, though.
Thank you.
Great. All right, and so for the first time, I don't know, first time I'm meeting you, but have you been on the set?
I've been not with you.
Not with me. Okay, good. So first time I'm meeting you.
Exactly.
The first time I'm meeting Honorable Dickson Adomako Kissi, former MP for Anya Sotwom. Welcome.
Thank you.
How are you today?
I'm doing very well.
Great.
And I'm happy to be here with very lovely people.
Yeah. All right. So talking about that, we need to hear your voices this morning. Like I said earlier, of course, there are some allegations that have been made by the Attorney General. Yesterday, during his press briefing, he did mention that there are some properties that were purchased by Kwabena Boahene. Now, you ask yourself, who is this person? Who is this Kwabena Boahene? Well, we'll tell you more about him, but he also alleged that Kwabena Boahene actually diverted certain amounts of money that was meant for government usage into his own private account. That is $7 million US. We'll talk about that. And also, another allegation is to do with the NSS, where he said the CEO, the former CEO of NSS, tried to pay a bribe to a member of Parliament to try and kill the ghost names story. We'll talk about that as well. But we want to hear your voice on 055-157-5757, 157-5757. Sending your messages. And, of course, Facebook. I even said I prefer my Facebook viewers more. I love you. So go on Facebook and leave your comments on Facebook, and trust us, we will read all your comments this morning. Let me quickly read what the news portals are reporting, and then we can delve into our topic for today. So I'll start with the New Republic newspaper. The New Republic newspaper. No investor feels safe if the press is oppressed, Shamima Muslim says so. Crackdown in MPP, Adjosa forced silence reveals party's dictatorial inclinations. Is this true, Honorable? Some people feel like, the party is dictatorial at this point because Honorable Adjosa has been made to keep quiet.
I don't think that's the case. I'm here this morning at my own will. I've not received a call as to how I speak and what I speak about. I think that is far from the truth. In many circumstances, people may veer off a little bit, and one key thing is bringing the party's name into disrepute. That limitations. Though it's a voluntary organization, and let me be very blunt about it, we all don't sign up to join. It's a voluntary organization, and there's a thin line between personal issues and party issues, and when you get it mixed up, you might be doing a bit too much. We all love our sister mother, Adjoa Safo, but I think there are some limitations. We've all been injured, maimed some way through what we call, ordinary people will say you're going through the mill, and reporters do that. Celebrities do that, you go through the mill, and some war stories are meant only for the war room. Mm-hmm. And as it is, as they say, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So there should be some limitations as to what we put out.
Okay.
And that's just my thing. But I appreciate her frustration. I mean, and I think that even all of us, MPP, to some extent, need some counseling, which is lacking. And once I have this opportunity, I think that the party, to some extent, needs to ensure that all of us get some sort of counseling to deal with this tragic loss. And admittedly, we lost in a very colossal way. Unacceptable to some extent. Luckily, we're not in Korea. We would have had some suicidal stories, and I'm praying even against that because it's only 3 months. Some will break after 6 months, and these are my thoughts about this whole thing. So it's not a culture of silence, far from it, but just I think more of a cautionary thing, and we'll see how we manage all of this. Yeah.
Right. We are hoping for the best for the party.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Amanda, you want to comment on it?
I can understand why it was referred to the disciplinary committee because, it's like a family. I mean, I can imagine politics is like being in a family, and there's certain things that are out there and certain things that have to be dealt with. And, she was the deputy chair, or she was the deputy leader, and she held a cabinet position as well as being an MP. You know what I mean? So I think being put to the back benches, she said, was something that really frustrated her. But some of these things, she's just a very popular person, so she would have come back easily had all this not been out there, sort of thing. But I do think as the party sanitizes whatever happened wrong and everything else, their members perhaps need to do some things privately and discuss some issues privately. But maybe this also means they have to give her voice to do that privately. Who knows?
Right. Honourable, I want to.
Yeah, certainly I'll comment. But, Doug, I think that there's not, even the word gagging is small. And even she was gagged under threats. And we must say these things as they are. There are some issues that should be done in the room. There are others that should be done outside. so that it will serve as lessons anytime you get power. Some of the issues that were meted out to Adwoa Safo were not done in the room. They were openly done. Sending a bulldozer to completely erase the father's business, was it done in the room? And when there's a pent-up anger, and there comes a time that you must ventilate your grievances, you must do it publicly. In itself, it is self-cleansing, self-soothing, and self-healing. Most people go through depression and go through suicidal thoughts because they've not ventilated, or a platform has not been created for them to ventilate their anger. If people have been allowed to always say out things without gagging them, without suppressing them, what happens is that it in itself emanates solutions to the issue so that in future you do not go there. As if the power that the MPP got, they had a well-rehearsed agenda, and that agenda is not even for the people of this country. To cow down people in their political party. Even the media went through that suppression, led by the president Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo at the time. Here is a man who was voted on the grounds of he is a freedom champion, human rights champion, and under him, even the press, the way people whitewashed him and gave it to us, he turned around, he became a hatchet man against your institutions and so on. The live news broadcast rooms were invaded by hoodlums within the MPP. They never said anything. People beat up people. In fact, untrained people seized guns and fired at Ayawaso. A committee was set up to resolve the matters, and the perpetrators punished according to law. They now even became so close to the president that they and the president were like Simeon's twins. They couldn't separate, even surgery couldn't separate.
Okay, Honorable. On that note, okay, let's go into other topics here. Let me finish the newspapers. But I don't think you would have been happy if somebody in your party had come out to speak about your party.
No, people have spoken in the past. People spoke. Matnamidu spoke. We can name them. Tony, do you name those who spoke out? That's what I think. It's yes, he spoke out what he thought was wrong.
You mean now they are heroes?
No, I'm saying he's asking me that I want to have been happy. In fact, when we got our tie, you remember we started firing and said we should calm down, and then we went with the Kosiboche report, for which I was part of it. In fact, to determine what led to our defeat. Their defeat, they were told a long time, but they said they ain't DOBO. And that money, is it Larijan does not speak or what?
All right, Honorable, on that note, let me quickly read what the newspapers are reporting. Vicky Bright jabs in Baumia, 260 million Ghana cedis bail for James Bond, and that's into, should I say, inverted commas. And this James Bond is the one and only, the former ex-CEO for National Signals Bureau, and he's in the person of Kwabena Edu Boahene. So if he has to go on bail, it's 260 million Ghana cedis bail. Wife and associates locked up in jail over mega fraud shock. And of course, the Attorney General mentioned why the wife has been arrested as well. Daily Graphic newspaper alleged 39.46 million Ghana cedis diversion. Edu Boahene and wife arrested. Deal was on State Cyber Defense Software. This is the Daily Graphic newspaper. The Daily Graphic. Special courts to fight galamsey in the offing. Free sanitary pad intervention. Government pledges to source from local producers. This is good. Party time. Ghana crashed Madagascar 3-0. I'm excited. Yesterday I was driving, past the place and I saw Ghana had scored 3-0. I was so excited. I was like, woo! Okay, finally, it looks like there's something. People on social media saying the Black Stars are NDC. Because under the MVP, they were not playing well. Hey, Ghana people can talk.
I never even heard it. What I heard was the last time we had is it 5 against Chad. And then someone quickly said that when Mahama was the president, Ghana scored Egypt, 6 goals or something. And this time he became a president, we scored Chad 5. So I was saying, wow, people are keeping these things. I can't even remember them. So some of these things...
Under our watch, too, we scored the first.
You did score some goals,
and even they left us with a horrible point advantage, unlike now, where we have, I think, 9 points. You know, I think when we took
now
power,
we have 15 points.
Ours was, no, I mean...
Then, okay.
Then we were 1.
Yeah.
And we left at 9 points.
Yeah.
So vast difference.
Vast difference.
Whether the goals were 5-0 now...
Or 3-0.
Or 3-0 now. The pointage is what matters. And the MPP bequeathed to the NDC point of 9, which is huge.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so...
Let me add
Gargantuan. All right, so this is the Catalyst newspaper, the Catalyst. We are seeking justice for journalism, not our brother Ahmed Swale's friends or family says so. Oral bites raw. Okay, so you see pictures of people that have, come out of the oral investigations, and we see the NSS boards, we see the National Signals boards, and all of that. Well, President Mahama honoring road promises, big push to fix Ho Aflawo Road, and in Kwanta Oti Damanko contractor back to site. Okay. The next one is the Economy Times newspaper. The Economy Times, the benchmark oil production pegged at 127,000 barrels a day at price of $74.70 US dollars per barrel. Legal framework for gold board ready for parliamentary consideration. And illegal mining fight takes a new turn as government academia introduce a new approach. My next newspaper is the Ghanaian Times newspaper. The Ghanaian Times, Ghana Health Service records 20,599 tuberculosis cases in 2024, 90% cured in historic feat. So that's great. That is great. Okay, the recording is no good, but the curing is good, and this is historic. So kudos to them. President tasked Ghana Armed Forces Council to prioritize discipline, integrity, and military. Minority accuses Attorney General of overstepping legal mandate, and I don't know if you do agree with it. You can actually send your messages to us. And former National Signals Bureau Director General to appear before court for allegedly diverting 40 million Ghana cedis, says Attorney General. And this will be all for the newspaper. I don't know, I think you have some. Let me quickly do the two that you have. All right, so I have the Overseer newspaper, the Overseer. Nana Jane makes history as first female Ghana Armed Forces chair. Only 48% of produced water gets to final consumer, says Ghana Water Limited. And Ghana will never default again, Finance Minister to investors. Finance Minister, are you sure? Okay. We are here. Boahene arrested for diverting $7 million into private accounts, says Ayene. And this is our Attorney General. So yesterday, the Attorney General, they speak, address the press, and of course, if you address the press, you're addressing the whole of Ghana, where he spoke about the one and only man who has been in the front page of almost all the newspapers. Okay, the Punch is the only newspaper that he didn't appear in, so let me do the Punch. It says, Forestry Commission officer fighting for life after machete attack by illegal miners in Ofin. President Mahama pledges economic transformation for Northern Region. And KGL Group Executive Chairman Alex Apel Dade donates 100,000 Ghana cedis to support development in Infantsipim. Congratulations to them. So this man seems to be the main topic for everybody this morning, and he's in the person of Kwabena Edu Boahene. Who would have thought that we'll wake up one day and hear the name Kwabena Edu Boahene? We didn't hear it in a good taste. We heard it in rather an unfortunate taste, where it's been alleged that he did divert certain amounts of money that was supposed to be used for government things into his own private accounts. Now, during the press briefing, this is what the Attorney General said, and I just want to say, he says that Edu Boahene Boahene transferred 49 million Ghana cedis of the state funds into private companies' accounts to purchase cybersecurity equipment. Edu Boahene and wife applied more than 39 million cedis of the state funds privately. Edu Boahene and wife used part of the 39 million Ghana cedis to purchase landed properties in Accra and outside Ghana. Edu Boahene and wife, again, I did read in one of the portals that they have been granted 260 million Ghana cedis bail and sureties, but they will definitely face court. And so looking at this, I know that the question here is, how did this happen? Is this really true? And of course, when he spoke, we got to know that these, findings are from the oral team. They did their own investigation, presented it to the Attorney General, and the Attorney General, in his own way, also did investigation. And out of that, they have these findings. Quite surprising, hearing these huge amounts of monies diverted into, private accounts and used for private properties. I don't know how any of you feel about it this morning, but Doc, this is your party. Mm-hmm. Some people feel it's witch hunt. Some people feel that, no, it's the right thing if you really did divert it. As a party member, do you feel this is witch hunt?
Well, first of all, there's one very important principle. Not guilty.
Until found guilty.
Proven. I'm of the opinion that all of this is in the interest of Ghana's financial enlightenment. I'm also of the opinion that if Edu Boahene knew the Financial Management Act, he certainly would have been a bit more cautious in doing these transactions. However, as we all know, ignorance of the law...
If you say that, I don't understand you. In doing these transactions, meaning that he could have done it and covered it up?
No. Let me be a bit more clear here.
Okay.
There are limitations in terms of what CEOs are supposed to do or can do within the financial framework that the country has. To the extent that even to decide on social programs, you have limitations. I mean, I think the last time I checked, you could only do up to about 50,000 Ghana cedis without board approval. So that's what I'm getting at. And I think that there are some clarities that we need to put out there. Something that's the former Deputy Finance Minister or Minister of State responsible for finance. This Edu Boahene is not the same person. I believe in reputational integrities and things like that. So let's be a bit clear to Ghanaians that this, shall I say, young man is not the finance minister that we knew. And these are two different individuals, maybe related, maybe unrelated. And for family purposes, this needs to be very clear to all of us. Now, I won't necessarily say this is witch hunting. And let's also be very clear that it was not transferred to a private account, but businesses that are owned by this gentleman. So it's a bit different. There's no way, that would have come up.
What's the difference between transferring it into your business? That's private. That has nothing to do with government.
An entity that you may be a board chairman of, an entity that you may be the CEO of, but what I'm making clear here is that it was not to a private account. Those are two different things. It's a private business.
Yeah, so there's still a private.
Well,
because once it didn't go to where it's supposed to go to, and it was diverted into something that has nothing to do with government, it's private.
Just by way of a little, information, if the said companies were companies that he had no affiliation with, this would not be news. And so what I'm trying to say is that this has become news by virtue of the fact that due to the forensic audits, it became very obvious that these entities who he wired to were corporations that he has huge influence or stake in, and for that matter, including his own wife. And that is where the brunt of this whole thing is, because it is so wrongful to, as it is, wire state funds to an enterprise that you run. That is very unacceptable. And I think he either was clueless that, our financial forensics are that good now that once you work through GRA and you have a Ghana card, certainly any company that you sit on, either as a board chairman or CEO, will be linked. And I think that these crimes, if committed 20 years ago, might have been a bit difficult to unearth. But now with the advent of digitalization, or shall I say, improvements in our financial record management systems, these are now very unacceptable. And
I think even if it was committed 20 years ago, it would have been discovered, because let's take a look at what happened under President Kufuor's administration, where he prosecuted certain individuals because of some misappropriation of funds. And so if you did it then, and that was how many years ago? We are talking about probably like more than 25 years ago.
Yeah.
So again...
I'm saying that the sophistication is now easily identified, more so because of, the
technology and all.
Technology and then the ability to share information. And I think that for all intents and purposes, this is the beginning of an additional layer of education for the ordinary person. And let me also add that in one breath, I'm happy this is certainly not a member of parliament. And unfortunately, I mean, many a times, politicians are said to be, the ones necessarily doing some of these unfortunate things. But I'm not saying that I'm happy he's not a politician, but I'm just saying that we get hit so much for other people's, financial misappropriations.
All right.
And I think that hopefully when this is all said and done and the truth is out, he will be able to defend himself, whether in truthfulness he's really attached to these companies. I want to be a very much careful in admitting that everything that the Attorney General said is the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Okay. On that note, also there's a list of certain places that he acquired that have come out. So there is this place that is number 8 Edith Avenue, Mayfair Estates, La Accra. He purchased it for $97,000. There is also, again, the Edith Avenue, number 9. This is number 9. So there was a number 8. He purchased number 9, and it's $270,000. Number 10, Edith Avenue, Mayfair Estates, La Accra, $150,000. Vertex Properties, or Yarifa Gated Estate Development, he purchased 27 houses, each at $295,000, which amounts to 127 million Ghana cedis. Again, property in London, that one, there's no price. There's another property in London too. There is a 16 million fixed deposit from payments received from BNC National Security. There is 7,250,000 cash withdrawal by this said Mandas Kwabna Boahene, and the payments came out of the second transfer of 21 million Ghana cedis from BNC of National Security to BNC to his private BNC company. There's also 1.5 million cedis cash withdrawal on the same day. He made payments to a real estate company that's to the tune of 1 million. When you are mentioning the money, hey, it's like, I haven't even seen some before, I'm mentioning the money.
The money is big.
The money is big, like, you know.
And this is the traceable ones.
Yes, these are the
These are the and then there's a 1.5 million cedis again that was redrawn again on the, it was redrawn between February to September 2020. Same day he made payments to a real estate company again. So again, see, I don't know how you're doing it this morning, because if these are really true, then your work is difficult.
Well, I mean, let me be very clear here. I didn't necessarily come to defend this.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that, one, the Attorney General needs to hold the office in high esteem and ensure that he's fair in how he goes about it. Even, you know, criminals also have their rights.
Yeah.
And I think that invariably, I mean, yesterday I was hoping that he just come out with what the key things are, which is either wire fraud or embezzlement, and then state a few things and leave it for the court room. But I think he was a bit too elaborate. I mean, that is just my thinking.
Okay.
I've watched many attorney generals or prosecutors, and they're very crisp with their key things that they give to the public, and they don't necessarily character assassinate during the process. And I love Dr. Ayini, but I think that in other submissions, I would hope that he'll be just straight with the whatever offenses are, and then limit, you know, the disclosures and leave that for the court. I mean, that's more professional. And that is my only thing that I'll say here, because back to my key thing, reputations matter, and until proven, or even not just proven, but when the jury, you know, has not meted out the verdict, I think we need to be a bit careful.
All right.
In how we...
Okay, talking about that, Amanda, the lawyers have actually issued a statement. You've seen the statement. Are you a lawyer? Your take on it?
My take on it is one should never enter public office unless you're willing to, and you're going to submit yourself to a higher standard in terms of the public interest. The letter is quite measured, but we also have to consider that the Attorney General has a constitutional mandate to protect the public purse. He has a duty to investigate and to prosecute financial crime. He also has international commitments and, you know, public confidence in institutions. The highlights of the accused lawyer's letters include the fact that he has a right to legal counsel and, you know, the 48-hour rule in terms of an arrest. This trial by media, is it prejudicial commentary? You know, Ghana's constitution, for instance, said there's a presumption of innocence until proven guilty, and that same presumption is at international level, but the AG may argue public interest, transparency, and the need to update citizens of anti-corruption efforts. There is also a presumption of innocence and fair process, which I think you were just mentioning, and Ghana's constitution also emphasizes, you know, equal and fair trials, but the AG could also argue that the evidence is strong and that the individual's reputations do not exempt them from scrutiny, particularly because this is public office. Do not enter. I mean, your whole life, your private life, your financial life, particularly if it relates to...
Even your health.
Even your health. And it's a $7 million that was meant for security infrastructure. Security infrastructure that might have helped Mahama's ex-account when it was hacked recently. Who knows, if we had that security infrastructure in place, that wouldn't have happened. So, you know, we don't take these things lightly because, you know, the message I think the Attorney General is trying to send is that Ghana is no longer a safe haven for corruption, which is what President Mahama said. And they have alleged in oral that it's 21.9 billion US dollars, and this is just chicken change.
Wow.
This $7 million is just chicken change compared to all of it. But I will add...
Amanda, let me ask, you are definitely the one who understands this field better.
Yeah.
Attorney General does this. You have read to us, what the Attorney General can do and cannot do.
Yeah.
At this point, the Attorney General didn't err. So why did the lawyers have to write this kind of statement to them?
Well, it depends on how you look at it, because he is also a member of the bar let and foremost, and as a member of the bar, especially with that list of properties, it sings for you in terms of prosecution. One can just let the matter take its natural course, and everyone is presumed innocent. Literally, even if you have a video of someone shooting someone, literally it has to go to trial, and you can't just say, okay, then they're guilty, and then just make a public spectacle of it. So there is a fine balance as members of the bar where the evidence has to be adduced in a court of law, first and foremost. And if the evidence does speak for itself, in terms of this list, then let the evidence speak in a court of law. But this witch hunt, some would argue, it has to be balanced with public sensitization in letting the public know what you are doing, but perhaps not making it so emotive and personalizing it to individuals, and just tell them there's 21.9 billion to come, and this is one of them. But especially do it maybe after you've even filed charges, and just updating the public on that. You see what I mean? So there's a fine balance between. You are first and foremost a member of the bar, and you have got to give people their right to adduce evidence in a court of law.
As an Attorney General, he still has a right to do what?
Yes, but it's not the court of public opinion.
Okay.
And with these properties, it's going to be the easiest case for the Attorney General's Department, which I was at, many years ago, over 12 years ago, I was at the Attorney General's Department. It's going to be a really easy case. What might not be so easy is, thankfully, he liked properties, so that's quite good for tracing. But the assets that they can't trace internationally, they'll have to liaise with their counterparts abroad to try and get that back, because it's for the public fund, basically.
So in this instance, they are going to seize all the properties and it becomes a government property?
Yoko can seize overnight. Okay. Yoko can literally go to court, make an ex parte application and seize within 6 hours.
Okay.
And so basically what happens is you freeze everything and then you let the trial happen. So you're trying to prevent the dissipation of assets, basically. So it's white-collar crime.
Not to cut you, but I think yesterday I would commend the Attorney General. He was very clear to the banks that if they should do any wires from his account, they'll be held liable. I think that was crisp, that was good, and we need to emphasize that when the person is caught, any actions taken afterwards can be very serious, and that goes to his bankers.
Okay.
But it's no longer in his bankers' hands, because ordinarily, Yoko has a lot of powers. And once you're dealing with a criminal, you can't trust anything, or an alleged criminal, you can't trust anything that they do.
Okay.
And so it is not for them or the bankers to decide whether money is moved, as we saw with Namwon and everybody else.
And even the party.
Namwon, a lot of dissipation of assets happened, but with this, Yoko literally can go to court this morning on an ex parte application and just lock everything up, in terms of everything is frozen, and then even if the trial takes 2 years, everything is frozen until then. That's how you deal with these cases.
Wow. Okay. Honourable, I know you have a lot to say about this. I don't even have to ask questions. You have written a lot down. If I ask you questions, all you have written will go. So please tell us what you want to say.
First and foremost, the people must know. Because it involves public property. It involves the taxpayers' money, people who have toiled in this country to pay their taxes and worked so hard. Justice emanates from the people, and justice is served in the name of the people. There's nothing wrong if the Attorney General briefed us. We employed him, and we must know who stole our money.
Nobody said they shouldn't.
No. The commentaries are on. I've listened to copious commentaries. The same people compelled the Attorney General to explain why he filed a nolle prosequi in the cases that he dismissed or he made him to go. So if this time the Attorney General is equally on the same platform as President, it shouldn't be a problem at all. The problem should be that we want our monies. You see, the Attorney General stated yesterday that the guy is fluid. He moves about. He mutates from one place to the other. That's why he was changing flights from even the seat. He changed his seat from business class to an economic class. He changed his name in order to deceive the investigating agencies. Why was he mutating from one country to the other and changing his names and using 2 service passports? They were not expired though. The 2 of them were active. So the question is, how can one fellow possess 2 service passports, including the private one? And we have, is it digitalization? And they could not detect that. The guy is using 2 service passports for these purposes. Look, it is not for nothing. Let me say this. The President Nana Adodanko Akufo-Addo told us that he was coming to fight corruption and that those who want money should go to the private sector. We've seen time and again that his appointees looted this country. We've seen time and again the reports we are getting from every institution. And you know what they do? They use a private institution. They set up another private institution. A cousin private institution that has some resemblance of a government institution. They use that to steal the money. And I can cite examples. Look, please. You say you wouldn't distort me.
Okay, but I'm just saying that out of these things, they still haven't been proven guilty.
My brother, the Attorney General has stated that as a prosecutor, every prosecutor goes to court with the intent to win a case. And that these were double-checked, quadruple-checked, and they made sure that he would not go to court without a case that he cannot prosecute. So for these 3 cases, he gave it to us. That even though what he has shown us was just a tip of the iceberg, and that if we see the iceberg itself, the one that broke the Titanic ship, will run away. You understand? And you remember in this country, we've been told how state agencies and departments are running losses. Do you understand? And people have even talked about the fact that they should be sold out or privatized. Is that not it? If one state agency can make such an amount and it goes into private, why won't it collapse? If one state agency can make so much money and it goes into an individual who can buy 27 houses at the cost of 7.5 million, why wouldn't that state institution collapse? It isn't that the workers, they are not working hard, but these people are so skillful. In fact, you see, they were told in this country that their grandfathers sent them to school to learn, and they were better than us, so we should not be complaining that they've given them positions. So if your grandfather sent you to school to learn how to outwit Ghanaians and the taxpayers' money, so be it. It's out there. You see, when you look at what happened, you look at his agenda, the way he used that. If an attorney general and Yoko and the FIC, the Financial Intelligence, if they are not careful, they may even miss the steps. The guy is so skillful that he's able to dribble, and it took the meticulousness of the attorney general to be able to unearth in this. Yesterday, when I was listening to Sremsai, the deputy said that 50 people were interviewed. And that it gets to sometimes the issues are murkier. Then you have to come back, sit and study it, and know where to pass. That is what they did to the state here. Look at Ghana Water Company. Ghana Water Company has spent over 50 million procuring, street lights. Is that their mandate? And using they are also using a private company called Fiberglass Innovations. SML was also created as a private conduit. That is why they keep doing it to all the institutions. Yesterday, Sam George was telling us, Anita, there's another private institution that they were using to also pay government money to it. This is a government that people's investments were eroded completely in order to pay our debts. This is a country that the Otumfuo the chief of Kumasi, the king of Kumasi, Ashanti region, is looking for $10 million to heal Okomfo-Anokye Hospital. Okomfo-Anokye is sick. A hospital that heals us now needs healing. Only 10 million, and one fellow has got more than that in his pocket. Dialysis, people could not pay for dialysis. In this, we've talked so much.
But at a point in time, it became free.
It's not true. You didn't hear the Minister for Health recently when he said that when they said it was true, it wasn't true. Didn't you hear the minister?
Not everyone got it.
Not everyone got it. But even the dialysis people. But even then. So
let's be fair. It's not like they didn't try at all. Good.
But even then, Palugo Dam, $12 million got missing. Cathedral, we cannot even count them. The issues are murky and they are so nauseating and irritating that you hand over the resources of this country to a group of people who had their own agenda to plant this country, and that is what they've done, and left us all in poverty. I was completely, I was just thinking, I've been looking for 1 million Ghana cedis, and I've not been getting. How did these people, this man was able to get 7.5 million and buy 27 houses. You know, and you see what annoys me, my sister and then my brother and to the public. After they've taken this money, they'll go and get in public, when you see them, their arrogance, their attitude, their condescending attitude towards the people of this country, their dismissive behavior, they will sit down and say that, you know, at the age of 21 years, I made $1 million. At the age of 25, I built 5 houses. My first son is in Harvard. The second is in Oxford. The last one, you know my last born, he's just finished a Legon Law School. That's how they treat it in this country. After they've stolen it, they will also keep quiet too. They eat their food in Dubai. So, you see...
Honorable, your time is up, though.
You see, when they do this to us, and the president comes in, they were doing it under a president who said he hasn't seen his people who were corrupt. Notwithstanding even Domlofo's actions, Martin Amidu's action, Martin Amidu called him a mother serpent of corruption, you name them. The president said he saw nothing wrong. Today, what we have seen is just that. And I know that this Attorney General is meticulous. His colleagues know. And he would not, yesterday he also said something significant. He said that the appointees of this government shouldn't think that he's not going to come for them. And they should be warned. And that any of them that takes a pay, he's going to come for them.
Right. So it's not witch hunting per se. It's just to make sure.
So how can we be witch hunting someone who has taken our man? If he's a witch, let's kill him. What he has taken, do you know the number of people who have died because of this? Who could not pay for their medicines? He's a medical doctor. Go to Kwelebu. When you send an emergency case, people are sitting in the ambulance and they are putting fusion on them. Women give birth and they are arrested because they cannot pay for the what do you call it?
Their bill.
Their bills. We cannot feed our students because there's no money. If all the state institutions, if we gather these pieces, it's more than, like my sister said this man, the oral alone is telling over 22 billion. Do you know what 22 billion can do? And I always cite one example, and I'll continue to cite it so that people will get the sense of what we are saying. If what's the name? The Pokwasi interchange cost us less than $100 million. Do you know the number of Pokwasi interchanges that could have been dotted across the country?
I mean, I do think that, 21.9... it's a lot of money for the public purse.
It's big money.
It's a lot, but with the Attorney General, he's doing a fantastic job. He started as he means to go on, and he means business, and he's also alerted people that he is going to be the same way with his own party. Should any of them think of doing anything like this?
Amanda, in this instance, will the prosecution where he goes to jail be okay than people knowing that, okay, the properties have been seized, we've been able to retrieve the money, is being given to the country, and so we'll let him loose?
I definitely don't think he's going to be let loose. I mean, they're going to make an example of people, not only with financial, taking back the money, but some people are going to be jailed for sure.
So it's not just about taking the money?
No, it won't be. And I think Oral did issue a statement initially that they did give people an offer So when Oral says that we've collected a couple of million, and everybody's trying to figure out how come you have collected a couple of million, it actually means that they quietly went to people and said, you know, we know you got this house for 10,000 Ghana cedis, and then the person that just gently, you know, gave the house back. So that's what they mean by they've recouped in that way. But when you're dealing with something like this, it's an example to be made of. But with the Attorney General, he's doing a fantastic job. You know, advocating what you're doing is very important in his position. But I would add that due process and fairness is very important, and that, you know, media comments, when it goes too detailed, it can prejudice the guy's case. Media statements can be considered biased and prejudicial. And, you know, first and foremost, as I said, you know, he's a lawyer, so he's a member of the bar, and we have to remember our ethics in terms of, you know, he's got a fantastic case, so present it before the court, and even the media people will be in that court, like we saw with the case with the current finance minister when he had a case going against him. The media were in the courts, so you can present all this in the court, and as it comes out, then everybody sees the list. But, you know, he shouldn't have this sort of knee-jerk reaction of, we must be seen as acting and, you know, I'm doing my job. We know you're doing your job, but there should be a balance with someone's due process and fairness, because he's a human being like everybody else, and he deserves that. He's a member of society.
Right. Okay, so I'll read a few comments that have come in, messages. If we have Facebook, we can also go on Facebook. Honorable, please, 1 second. Honorable, 1 second, please, for me. So if we have Facebook, we'll definitely be going on Facebook right after our WhatsApp messages, so we are preparing Facebook. So you can go on Facebook and leave your comments there. We do appreciate you so much. Honorable, you were making a point.
The Attorney General's work must be transparent. Gone are the days, you talked about technology, one of them you talked about. Gone are the days when these things were shrouded in mystery. Even the Attorney General cannot be seen. We've seen Attorney Generals, Godfred Adami, always with the media and talking and even asking people to go to the court, daily going to courts and so on. So, in this case of public alleged crimes, what you do is that you carry the people along. You don't need to leave them behind, so that they are informed from time to time as to the progress of a case, because it is their money.
But nobody's saying they shouldn't. All we are saying is that, as you are saying, just be discreet about certain things.
Yesterday he said it. He said that, look, no prosecutor goes to court with it. You would always say that you will win. And that's why he said he didn't go into details. And he said that...
These are details.
These are details.
No, these are not. He mentioned what we all know. Because even Eugene had 32 flats. 32 flats.
That was a claim by...
By the way.
Okay, so let me read a few comments.
Let me end on
Let me read a few comments that have come in. Okay.
If we don't publicly know the crimes, sometimes even with these allegations that the Attorney General brought, people are still defending this. Can you imagine? People are still defending it all.
All right.
And even insulting the Attorney General.
Okay.
And you know, the Attorney General said that there's a possibility that if he wants to go and prosecute him without retrieving it, is 25 years. I bet if they are able to retrieve everything, including the profits he has made, they will calculate that and deduct.
Yes.
And this is someone who is about 40-something years. So if he's about, and he doesn't bring the money, he'll go 25 years. By the time he comes, he'll be an old man. And he will not be...
Let me read a few comments that have come in. NPP claims Attorney General is witch hunting them. If you are not a witch wife here, good morning to Doctor. He's my mentor in political communication. I wish I could have his contacts. Good morning, Rosalind Solomon from Bolga. Okay, so Doc, it looks like you're people's mentor too. Akonse Gariba from Tamale says, good morning, Rosalind. I do not think that anybody should take the country money for his or her property, but the Attorney General sounded simplicity in his approach to prosecuting Mr. Boahene after entering no persecution for his NDC party people. I think the AG should come again. My regards to Dr. Mahmoud Baumia.
I'm factoring Ask him after today. He's run away. Remind him.
All right, so Musa Abatua in the Sawasi says that we must commend the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayine. So far, so good. At least he updated the public regarding seeking accountability from past and present government officials. He urged him to go further to ensure accountability and protection of those who misappropriated public funds, and also name said MP to whom money was given to kill the story in the 4th Estate about NSS ghost names. And that will be our next topic for today. Rosalind, good morning to you and your panelists. I think the opposition, NPP, especially Afenyo Makin, is not doing the party any good. He's quick to misinform and mislead its followers. His theatrics are becoming annoying. Greetings to my lovely daughters, Ajia Rahim, Mami Sweetie, and this coming from Abbas Haruna. Okay, Abbas Haruna. Good morning, Madam Host. Please, where are the Catholic Union, the Labour Union, and the media and the rest? They are no more preaching in their churches and mosques about Galamsey. No more strike. Even the man who claimed he will make sure that workers will be paid now, you make it 10%. And at COVID-19 period, and another increased by 15. And now, how much did you allocate to the Jubilee House just to create and share? Okay, your name is Crazy Cobra. Oh, wow. Is that your name? All right, so, good morning to you and Joy Prime host. Can you tell me time a minority will have press conference and on Attorney General? Hey, we have to tell you the time, okay. Mansa Majid from Bechem, Toronto, Kwabena Boahene, some MPP leaders have drained the public purse for Kwabena Boahene to buy 27 houses in a day. It's too bad. We must start jailing some of these criminals. I'm also so happy that Honorable Sarah Adjoa Safo has started exposing the corrupt leaders under ex-President Nana Addo's regime, and I salute her for that. The corrupt MPP leaders are trying their best to intimidate her, but it won't work. My regards to Honorable Charles Akwesi Asiedu. Good morning to you, Madam Rosalind, and to your guests. Madam, you always look gorgeous. Thank you so much. Madam, let's congratulate our Black Stars for beating Madagascar yesterday. It's like under JM, everything is now working again. In fact, listening to the Attorney General yesterday, I realized that Ghana was in the hands of robbers. In fact, very painful narrative. May our great nation never fall in the hands of people like NPP again. In fact, what happens to Honorable Adjoa Safo was indeed painful. The best decision she can take is to join NDC. If not, her life is in danger if she continues to stay in the NPP. My regards to MP for Mion Alaji Misbao. Okay, that's from Sumani Hamza. Good morning, Joy Prime. With regards to Attorney General's press briefing, he should stop it and prosecute to past government appointees if found guilty. To me, political witch hunting is the way to solve corruption in Ghana. But why is Attorney General discontinued corruption cases against his own party members? Tomorrow is pregnant, and this is from Mohammed Ibrahim Yendi. Good morning, Joy Prime. We thank God that the president has changed his mind and made U-turn on teacher trainee allowance. Okay, and that's good. Thank you so much. Corruption has eaten into the very fabrics of our dear nation. The sad reality is that appointees of the NPP government were clothed with immunity against proper investigation and prosecution. This emboldened many more appointees at the time to involve themselves in corruption, knowing well that as long as Akufo-Addo remains president, nothing was going to happen to them. Today, their day of reckoning has come, and they must be made to pay for their recklessness. The revelation from the Attorney General yesterday is just a tip of the iceberg. Many more exposés will unfold in the coming days, and I trust the current NDC government to prosecute and retrieve all resources that were stolen under the erstwhile Akufo-Addo administration. My greetings to the respected and highly esteemed politician, Honorable Timothy Awantrim Atabwade, and this from your nephew, Daniel Akbaliok. Good morning, Rosalind. Tell the Dr. Dickson Adomako to stop defending Boahene. He didn't defend him. He didn't defend him. Having 27 houses and ask Dr. Kissi that he has been an MP for 4 years. Was he able? Hey, they say you've been an MP for 4 years. Were you able to acquire that?
Not to know. Not to know.
All right, so it says the answer is no. Attorney General is working and more to come. Rosalind, take your time and greet Jenna William, a.k.a. number 90, number 100 from Kofi Dako, Cape Coast. All right. Good morning.
100,000 Ghana cedis.
Good morning, Rosalind. The AG seems to be operating in the court of public opinion as he always seeks to declare people criminals even before being put on court trial. If indeed he is culpable of the crimes, he must be prosecuted. Until that is done, he is innocent until proven guilty. This from Nanton Do. Good morning. The minority must stop this kind of press conferences and allow the AG to do his work to recover the funds that the wicked and selfish individuals of the past government appointees hoard to private accounts. How can they pay NAPCO trainees arrears if one individual hoard this kind of money into the account? This money recovered must be used to pay NAPCO trainees arrears because that's our monies. Anyone who involved in this kind of wickedness, the money involved should multiply by 2 for him to pay, so he will learn sense not to do so again. What a country called Ghana. So sad. Because of wicked and selfish individuals, we don't have Ghanaians at heart. Ooh. Ooh. I'm going to try and read just about 2 and then we can go. Good morning, beautiful Rosalind, your panelists. In fact, I really love the NDC man submissions. Kudos, he's so eloquent. Witches must be killed if for sure he is a potential presidential candidate. Oh, okay, honorable. I think you should think about it.
Then I'm a big man.
Letitia, I want bill. I'll do the last one and I'll come back. I'm not saying I'm doing the last one and I won't do anymore. I'll definitely come back and read all the other messages. So keep them coming. Good morning. Attorney General is doing well so far, but Mr. Timothy should stop doing politics with this talking. He's talking. This is from Dude Timothy Tumu. Okay, so I think we should go on Facebook and read a few of the messages coming in on Facebook, and that'll be good to see what's on Facebook. Let me see. Can we have the Facebook, please? All right. So as we are preparing for Facebook. Good morning, Madam Host. I think the rush by MPP persons to criticize the Attorney General and anything corruption issues is becoming too much. I thought they were the same people who were better saying we should allow the state institutions to work. What has changed? This coming from Chris DBI. All right, so we can go on Facebook right now and see what's on Facebook. All right. So we are trying to get Facebook, read a few messages from Facebook as well. I told you earlier that my Facebook viewers are just something else for me. I love you, love you, love you, love you so much. So I'll definitely come on Facebook and be reading some comments. But you know what? Talking about the Attorney General, he didn't just talk about Boahene. He spoke about NSS as well.
Correct.
I like your energy in the NSS thing. Correct.
Well,
his allegations, it's quite surprising, saying that a certain amount of monies were wired into certain accounts last year, November 2024, just to kill the ghost names stories. Did you hear?
Well, I heard that, but, you know, these are, at this point, hearsay, and I'd hope that it isn't so. But at any rate, I mean, this concept of ghost names is not peculiar to just Ghana. I was actually surprised to hear Elon Musk and Donald Trump, as it is, making such claims about Social Security in America. So I think that concept of an institution paying people who are not necessarily even alive is not new, but must be interrogated to some extent. Some of these things happen, 1, out of administrative error, 2, clerical error. These things happen. I mean, so I would hope that when, through quality assurance, the checks...
Administrative error.
Well, there are instances where people leave work and the appropriate channel for discontinuing their payments are not, met. It happens. Okay. So what I mean by that is that some of us may have finished national service and would still be, getting payment.
No, then the leadership is bad.
No, that's why I'm saying that these are administrative, and it won't be new to just one institution. I remember in my dealings with some of the government institutions, some people may have left the country for education purposes and were paid for 2 years only for them to renege on their arrangement with Ghana. So there are many instances where monies were initially properly paid for what it was intended for, except for the fact that people who had gone out for PhD programs decided not to come back. And at that point in time, then it becomes illegal. And these are administrative in nature.
But that's different from this one.
No, you asked me.
Okay.
And that's why I said there's also that clerical bit where if we go to the Comptroller and Accountant General's office today, I would almost vouch that though it is an NDC probably appointee managing affairs, it is highly likely that there will be clerical or administrative mistakes in his system. High on the list will be those who have died and are still getting salary.
Let me just find out.
And these are...
As a leader, that you are supposed to make sure that you man whatever monies are you are losing in your company or you are getting for
cost
the company.
savings. Yeah.
Are you not to make sure that these places are fixed, especially if you sit in that place for about 4 years minimum? You should be able to say that, let me take a look at what it is, because there are audits that happen yearly, isn't it? And so how is it that you missed all that, looking at the number of ghost names in the system?
So let me add here for our information. I always say that the education minister has people who may have left the country and are still getting paid, largely not because of the education minister's fault, but the fact that those who are supposed to do the biometric verification approve, and these people get paid. So there are many pockets of issues that, I remember telling, the Speaker of Parliament that though he sits as the Speaker of Parliament, when a staff member does something erroneous, it is not attributed necessarily to him. And we seem to do that a lot, whereby, let me just adduce this idea that a head of HR might be doing something wrong, and by virtue of the fact that I'm CEO for the entity, I take all the blame. But when further interrogation is done, it might become very obvious that, hey, the CEO, none of those funds that went to staff members who are now dead and have maybe not informed us becomes an issue. So in many of our institutions, let me be very categorical here. Some people have died, they are still getting salaries, unfortunate, because of some cultural nuances where people delay in reporting to corporations that their loved ones are dead, or during the grieving period, people forget themselves and fail to inform Comptroller and Accountant General. So these are things that, on a whole, this country needs to look at, where Awuntiri is transferred to Tamale, and during that transfer, it will be seen as him taking money in Accra but working in Tamale. At the end of the day, the Comptroller pays him the same amount whether he works in Tamale or in Accra. So some of these nuances in our payment system or human resource management systems need to be looked at. I see this NSS thing as largely a human resource management problem. And it is not, let me be very clear here, this is not new to just the MPP administration. I remember the NDC had similar instances with national service, and it might be a problem that is inherited and a problem that we all as a nation have to address and not necessarily ascribe it to one party or one government.
Okay, so but what about the allegation that the Attorney General made, saying that former National Service CEO allegedly paid an MP to kill that story?
Listen, as I sit here, quite honestly, this is news to me. And I think that who knows what the money truly was for and what the intents were. I mean, I don't know.
So this is what he said. Let me read. Let me give you what exactly he
said. To add to this, in many instances, and not to cite breaches in press work or media work, in many instances, people are given opportunity to further interrogate matters before they talk. And that could be some of these instances. But as to the NSS issue, let me state here that looking at even Galamsey today, NDC was there, we inherited the issue, MPP is gone, NDC has the same issue now. Will we then say that the NDC is at fault for Galamsey? No. And what I'm trying to make a point here is that the idea of ghost names or people at the age of 60 still doing national service is not necessarily new to the MPP government alone. It's been in other governments. I think was it Joyce? Mm-hmm. One of the NDC women also had a major quote unquote scandal. It was thoroughly investigated and found out that she had no role to play in terms of what everybody was saying.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm just saying that the Attorney General says that money was paid to kill the story. So yes, maybe they don't have a hand in it. So where from the money that has been paid? And he says, this is what he says, indeed, we now have evidence of payments that were made into the accounts of the top executives of the National Service by vendors, private vendors, and staff of the scheme. That's what he stated. He also went further to say, we also have evidence that in November 2024, the CEO of the National Service Scheme and others paid a Ghanaian MP to kill the story in the media and to defend them. Now, this is a developing story, and more of it will come out very soon. So he stated this categorically.
I think it's unfortunate that the Attorney General should make such a statement. The reason why I say that is when you're managing corporate brands, let me be very categorical here. What I don't like about Ghana is that sometimes some things that are done managerially are classified as corrupt. Because I can tell you that in management of a corporate brand or even identity, sometimes you bequeath some money to help people, to stall the story until further particulars are brought up. So I find it very unfortunate that in an attempt to, as it is, guard or protect somebody's reputation, funds may be made available to ensure that the corporate brand is held in high integrity will be misconstrued as, on wrongful payment. And it is so bad that should be the case. Supposing somebody makes an allegation against our current vice president, and as it is, for PR work, monies are paid for PR work to ensure that your news outlets are careful in how they give the narrative, or PR work is done to educate people on the actual happenings. You can't then say that you are paying to kill the story.
All right.
So there's a balance there, which I think we need to be very fair to everybody, in the sense that when there's a defamation of some sort or character assassination and you try to manage your brand, that should not be characterized as necessarily a scandal. And this is common practice even for Coca-Cola, which I drink a lot, unfortunately. This is something that many corporations do to manage their brand identity.
That's why you have a PR. A member of parliament is not your PR.
No, when it comes to, and let me be very clear here, when it comes to lobbying and making sure that your name is not defamed, there are many people who are actors in this. And not, let's be very, straightforward about that. And as it is, who knows? As I sit here and talk about the NSS program, if I'm invited for further details to understand what has happened, will I then be accused of being a former member of parliament who's taking money to try and understand what is happening? I mean, I think that'll be a very
That's different if you're being paid to go and understand and, speak on behalf of them.
No, what I'm saying is that, I mean, which is which? To kill the story or to educate the public more? It's all also killing the story.
Okay, all right.
So
they should have got a crisis management expert.
Yes, because I think that's people's jobs.
Yeah.
There are people out there who are to do the crisis management. There's the PR. And so if you really want to work on the PR aspect, go to a PR company. Don't go to a member of parliament.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
if it's true, though, if it's true, then it was wrong for them.
Or maybe the member of parliament has a PR organization, which we don't know.
Which we don't know. I like that. But Amanda, hearing this one in particular, if it's true, again, I'll say that. Because why would they even go ahead and pay for the story to be killed?
Exactly, and I think we should all put at the heart of all this the public purse. This is about more money for Ghanaians in terms of roads, schools, hospitals, etc. And for instance, with this NSS scandal, Yen is quoting that 81,885 ghost names costs Ghana 704 million Ghana cedis annually. So we don't even know how long that went on for, but annually. And that is money that could have been used. And the NDC government have come into power and are, so to speak, looking for money in a way because the coffers are empty. And they're literally saying $21.9 billion can be brought back just because of how much people took. So at the heart of this is not just the nitty-gritty of who paid which MP and, you know what I mean, who's the latest person and branding their name and everything. At the heart of this should be, we want more money for Ghana, and $21.9 billion is a lot to put back in the system. And so, although we do care about the personalities involved, we care more so that the public purse is being protected. And I think that is the heart of everything, basically.
Right. Honourable?
Yeah, you see, before the government left office, even Auditor General report alone tells us that over 52 billion of financial malfeasance was uncovered. The government did nothing to surcharge.
That will not be a fair statement.
To surcharge and disallow those who did it. And I know that Lawyer Kwebu and other people, they said they've sent the case to court. They've demanded answers, it never went. We never knew. As at the time, we were always saying that we only knew this. We never knew the colossal, even not, Nostradamus. Nostradamus could not predict that this country would be under a crime scene but led by a mother serpent of corruption.
That was somebody's term.
He never denied it, and in fact, as I know, then they would have responded with copious articles and so on. And Martin dared them and said that the information he has, when he brings it out, the country will sink. Martin is still alive, you can get back to him. And you see, MPP people must stop defending, if they are really patriotic people. They call their party New Patriotic Party. If they are patriotic, you should stop defending and try to romance the issues. These are people's life, people's what do you call taxes that are in danger. Taxes, when your mama said the country was a crime scene, it was criminal money. They came here and they said, how can a country be criminal managed when it grew by 5.7% GDP? Look at what is happening. And for me, the National Service one, Doug, you cited the US. The institutions for fighting corruption, both horizontal and vertical, are up and doing. You can still 100 years, they'll get you. I think, Amanda, you yourself mentioned that some 20 years ago, they might not be able to unearth this thing. In the US, you can do, even cold cases are brought to life. And it has become an issue because we told them that we were forming Oral, and Oral was the first committee that the president formed because we had information. And the informations were disjointed and we didn't know how colossal they were. So we needed to form this so that immediately we can even take the hanging fruits.
Low-hanging fruits.
Yes. Before it turns into a crime. Look, history has told us that when people are in government, and they do these things, and you don't catch them hot, they have a way of sending the things under various names and the various maneuvers, subterranean, you name them, very dubious ways. It was under this government that we saw that polytanks, instead of storing water, it was storing cash. Have you ever seen a polytank storing cash?
I haven't heard of it, though.
That's original.
You didn't hear of it? Oh, so that is
Just giving everybody ideas.
Yeah.
Yes. So for me, I think that the National Service girl, with all those there, there's something that is... Woman. There's something that is missing. How were the monies cashed out from the banks? How were they cashed out? Let me cite an example. When I was in Parliament, Honorable Dominic Azuma and myself had to go to SSB Bank to answer a worker for a year or two hasn't taken his salary. And they said they were not going to pay him. Why were they not going to pay him? They said, how was he leaving? That his salary, he was working with ECG, because the guy is Travis, I can mention. And the guy had a joint account with the wife. And because he wanted to travel, he wanted to build his account to some level so that at the embassy they would give him the visa. That was how come he left his salary. But those banks like the International Bank would not have paid 81,000. The number is bigger than the NACOP. The number is bigger.
It's bigger than the number of seats there.
Yeah, and 81,000. And like I told you, you see, the money, this wealth has become offensive today.
So you're trying to say that this 81,000, like what Honorable said, it could have been an administrative error.
We have all worked in public office before. No one should come and obfuscate issues here and tell us that administration 81. Do you know the number of people on the Senate roll? Do you know the number of people on the Senate payroll? People should not be taking us, they think that we are caricatures and we just come and they will talk to these caricatures and we'll leave. 81,000 people. Look, Doc cited an example of teachers could travel and these are just some things that they could even do. And even in that case, the money is paid into a teacher account.
I've worked at Attorney General's like 12 years ago. And to even be onboarded, it took 3-4 months. You know what I mean?
And that is wrong.
No, not in a bad.
No one is saying that
it was a process because they want to.
This is a well-rehearsed agenda, an agenda to steal, to loot the country, and they've done it perfectly. They were taking 50 million Ghana cedis a month. The young lady couldn't have been taking that alone.
Let me read a few messages.
These things were cashed through the bank.
But you don't know. You don't know that for sure. You can't say that she couldn't have taken that alone. You don't know that.
I am just saying that he couldn't have, because 50 million Ghana cedis a month, my sister. You go and the bank will cash it to you.
Well, you've seen,
and it's not put in your account, and you carry it in bags and go away.
This one says that somebody cashed out. Please give me that one. How much a day? In a day? In a day? In a day? In a day? So why you say somebody can't cash out? Anyway, let me read a few
accounts to do that.
Let me read a few messages. You don't know whether she used some accounts to do that or not. Good morning, Roslyn. I'm Winnie Matthew from Upper East. We praise the Attorney General for the update, but we need more actions than mere talks. We need the judicial service to fight corruption, to prove to Akufo-Addo and his government that he was covering his appointees. The spirit and integrity of Ghana is gaining back. Honorable Timothy, your appointment will soon come in Jesus' name. Say amen.
Amen and amen.
Musa Abato says that we must commend the AG, Dr. Dominic Ayini. So far, so good. At least he updated the public regarding seeking accountability from past and present government officials. He urged them to go further to ensure accountability and protection for those who misappropriated public funds, and also name said MP to whom money was given to kill story in the Fourth Estate about NSS ghost name scandal. Atope says Department of Government Efficiency, Ghana, I applaud the Attorney General for exposing this fraud, and I hope it's not a political stunt, but rather recover every penny looted to government coffers. Ghana, is it Doge or Dog? Okay. Ato Paynes also says Attorney General is putting up hard copy evidence, period. He continues saying he's a pro Pro, more than 2 million housing deficit. When I drive through Ghana, I see millions of potential hazards at Pain says so as well. Master planner from Junior Kintimpo says the drowning man will clutch at the straw. It is clear that the NDC are just trying to fulfill their manifesto promise on the oral, so they are riding on allegations to make noise in this country. In 2009, when they assumed power, they made allegations of over 100 NPP members, but in their 8 years, from 2009 to 2017, they couldn't prosecute just one person.
So the NPP,
it is the same tactics they are using once more. Nothing will come out from these allegations. Master planner, okay, from Kintampo. Mensa Maji says that Kwabena Boahene and some MPP members have drained the public purse. For Kwabena Boahene to buy 27 houses in a day is too bad. We must start jailing some of these criminals. I'm so happy that Honorable Sarah, okay, I think I read this, the WhatsApp messages. Shaibu Irewo says the same players, the same coach. But come to think of it, we now have a local player on the field playing 90 minutes. We also have a certain Kudus who is no more wearing the dreaded 10 jersey, and we also have a restoration of the captainship to the rightful person. Aside that too, the color of our jersey and the visit by Parliament and President at their training grounds, Charlie, you never can tell. All these may have an influence. Mohammed Abbas, Roslyn, good morning to you and your panelists. I think the opposition MPP, especially Afenyo Markin, is not doing the party any good. He's too quick to misinform and mislead his followers. His theatrics are becoming annoying. All right, so Sami Boache, I think Sami Boache, I read your message on WhatsApp. All right, so he says the NDC seems to be under the impression that they can deceive Ghanaians and are unfairly targeting the previous administration. The court has sentenced the former Maslock boss, Madam Sedinam Tabaklo, to financial malpractice, and she is currently unaccounted for. It is noteworthy that we have not heard the current Attorney General inquire about her whereabouts. In light of our promises to address the numerous challenges facing Ghanaians, such as power outages, galamsey destroying our water bodies, and high food prices, the future appears uncertain. Slide grabs, the NPP is a party full of corrupt, dishonest, and violent personalities. And then Kweku America says Ghana must rise again. All right, so this is it for. Okay, so I'm trying to get. Okay. So this is it for Facebook. Let's see if we have some messages coming on WhatsApp. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Corruption remains one of the critical challenges facing Ghana's economy, affecting resource allocation, foreign investment, and social equity. A sustained effort is required from the government, civil society, and citizens to combat corruption and restore faith in the economy, ultimately fostering a fair and prosperous society. Good morning, Joy Prime. This is to advise your outfit. Kindly get a personnel of the Ghana National Fire Service to explain the technical know-how of their standard operational procedures so as not to let your panel misinform the public further. We need experts to educate, not ordinary persons. What misinformation did you have? If you have any misinformation, we didn't even discuss it at all. So if you have any misinformation, kindly send us messages about it. Al Gomda from Tamale says, see the difference, MPP Black Stars and NDC Black Stars. Really? Hey, Black Stars, you people have brought Batao. On oral, in our homes, if someone steals our money, what do? We go after the person. Now, when a person in government steals our money and some people are supporting him, that person is also a thief. When I buy bread, sugar, airtime, government put tax on it. Now, this money is stolen by someone in power. Oral go after all of them. They made cost of living too much for us. Which honorable man will support a thief? It's only a thief who supports a thief. When people steal our money, you can call it witch hunt. A big shame. Okay, so I think that I can't read any more messages, unfortunately, so I'll have to take final views on our topics discussed so far. Okay, so Doc, let me start with you. I
thought we were going to do ladies first.
Oh.
but then again, I'll talk.
Okay.
So I need to say this, that, reputation matters a lot in our world. And it's very important that we do not jump to, as it is, black label people. And I think that we need to be very careful in terms of how we put out information about people in the public, whether on any of the social media platforms. But in all, I'm hoping that the Attorney General in the next disclosures will be a bit more candid. I think that's the right word.
All right.
So that we leave the rest for the courtroom.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Amanda?
Yeah, I just think that people at various levels of government, they do take an oath of office. And they take this oath because they're serving Ghana first and foremost. And they wouldn't have been given access to $7 million US, etc., except if they were in a position of trust. So if you put yourself in public office, you're in a position of trust, you have got to be accountable. And yes, I do understand that people are saying that, is it really fair to put his wife's name out there, his name out there, arrest them in this public scandal? There is a balance. But first and foremost, when you put yourself in public office and you're in a position of trust, this is what can happen. And it serves as a deterrent for other people. Saying that, however, I think that the Attorney General has started very well, and he's certainly going to go on very well. But I think his office must also remember there is a presumption of innocence until proven guilty, and that, emphasizes equal and fair rights to trial. So they have to balance that with the policy, keeping it a bit generic, and then as the case unfolds, all this evidence can come out and the press can be in that courtroom. So you have to balance it, I think.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Honourable?
Rosalind, do you know that Reverend Kobina Boahene, he's a reverend too, and he quoted the book of Ecclesiastics.
He said deacon. He's not a reverend, he's a deacon.
He quoted the book of Ecclesiastes and talked about time and opportunities when an office is given to you, how you are supposed to do it. So he even has a Bible version that supports him. They quote the Bible when it supports them, and they dismiss the Bible when that part is not supporting them. That's the fact. But you know what? He also talked about the 2 million train, the Sky Train. And then when they trace it to Mauritius, listen to me carefully, no company existed that does a Sky Train. So you see, when we do like this to our fans, then we go outside there to borrow. The whites look at these people. You can go and borrow, you can pay $2 million to a company that does not exist. Follow them up there, whether you went and share the money or not, it does not exist. But you know what? I brought these two and today we're talking about money for a reason, and I want your camera to capture it. Yesterday I went to a shopping mall, and after my shopping, the owner said that he was not taking the money. And I asked him whether it was a fake currency. He said no, and I asked whether it was not legal tender. He said it was legal tender. He will not take it because it was torn and they used a sellotape. So the back and forth, I'll not put the company, I'm going to report them to the police. Instead, I call National Security, put the thing there. And why our legal tender has been rejected for the purchase of goods and services. It's a plot.
Bank, they'll change it for you.
No. They've been doing that. God has a way of doing things. Yesterday, I had a new one. I picked an Uber. I could have given this to Uber, he would have taken. But sometimes let me give him the new one and keep this and use this for the distance. He's been doing that to people. And there was a foreign, forest exchange barrier. So he moved with me there. And the lady said he was not, and I asked the lady why. That man, that's what he's been doing. So the lady changed the money. I said, no, you take your money. I'll keep this for evidence because I need to show that this is the illegal tender in this country that is known across the world. You cannot use to purchase goods in Ghana here and it will be rejected. You are rejecting Ghana.
Okay.
And we are not going to take that from any.
All right, Honorable, thank you so much. A big thank you to my guests for making it this morning. We are very grateful. Dr. Dickson Adomako Kissi represented the NPP. Amanda Clinton, who actually is a lawyer, and she represented her chambers. I like that.
Monica working at your place?
No.
No, Monica Lewinsky.
All right, and of course, Honorable Timothy Awantuma Topwani, thank you so much. He represented the NDC.